Welcome back to One of One PLLRS Podcast. This is Reg. This week I'm honored and I'm beyond blown away because it's still like low key. I don't want to say surreal, but it's just cool that like we have like any type of level of relationship based off of like your history and the things you've done. I really admire your work, Steve Carless,
Thank you.
aka Steve-O.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I
Why is
appreciate
that?
you
Why is
pulling
that
up.
surreal?
All right, so coming in to like the culture and everything like that, hip hop, like I was a spectator, right? And I would imagine at some point everybody's a spectator, right? But you came into hip hop where I felt like everybody who was involved had a story. Like you had to, there wasn't like a some type of like article or some type of news thing where it's just like, oh, they got an opening at this job. You had to like everybody that was in it. It sounds like finesse their way in, or you knew somebody, or you really worked it somehow, right?
Yeah.
And then once you got in there, everybody hustled, and there are these legendary stories, and you were in it at a point in time when it was it. Like you had to experience it. It wasn't any of the weird social media shit or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you've worked with people who are like now like memorialized in like just history of music and just like culture and the zeitgeist.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little surreal for me too. I grew up and was raised in Jersey and always just been a fan of music, but that was kind of like instilled in my house. Like I'm first generation of Jamaican immigrants here and living there for many years. Like my parents had me pretty young, so
Mm.
music was like a huge like bedrock in my house. Like my parents aren't like the kind of parents that they were playing like reggae or dancehall. I mean, they had that, but they were really into like the R&B and like the current genres of the time.
Yeah.
So for me, I never thought that you get like a little voice that speaks to you in your mind. I never thought that that would actually lead me on to a career path and actually like a lifestyle that I'm living now.
So you had your love of music, and you were, I guess, engaging from the point of view of that. Like, how did that transition to you eventually working your way into? Because I think, and I might be wrong, your first label experience was over at Def Jam.
No, my first label experience is with Pharrell and Star Trak.
Oh, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah.
I did know that, and you had a dope story about that, and I'll get into that in a second. But how did you get from like listening to music with your parents to Star Trek?
It's kind of weird. Well, not really weird. I guess when I became a teenager, from what I can remember, I mean, I always loved the music. I felt like we grew up in the music video era,
Mm.
where MTV and BT and the music jukebox, all these things, you got to get an inside look outside of the music, like into the lifestyle, into the stories of these said acts or whatever. And like you have a thing like when you see these kinds of artists, like the rappers in particular. Like my favorite rapper growing up was Nas. So looking at Nas, I don't know, he had like this young appeal that made me feel like everything he was talking about going through outside of the more like mafioso imagery stuff,
Mm.
it really felt very relatable, right? And it was like, wow, someone that actually has these kind of perspectives and point of views that I'm having as a burgeoning teenager. There's actually a person that's living and having a successful career at it.
Mm.
And it's very authentic. Now, I'm not living some of his trials and tribulations, but understanding of it, I think when you start seeing yourself, you kind of can manifest
Yeah.
where you want to go. But at that point, that wasn't even a reality to me. It was kind of like second nature. It was just kind of like I thought my pops was really cool. He was like selling cars, and he was a DJ on the weekends.
Mm.
So he'd always have new cars, and he'd play his new records that he found in the car and blast them and drop me off to school. And that was like almost as similar to like watching music videos, if that makes sense. Because
Gotcha.
my friends would see me get dropped off in like a new whip. My pops is blasting new big. You
Mhm.
feel me? And all those psychological cue points start to take shape. And, at that age, I'm, born and raised in Union County. So the main thing was really trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Right? Because, like, growing up in that era in the 90s, drugs had just came off the streets, but there was like a new thing. Guns, gangs were really like on the rise. And you start to get really intentional about how you're going to beat the circumstance of the environment that you're in. So for me, I never had any like ambition to do that. I was always like, all right, I just need to, my parents were just instilling in me. My mother was like, you need to go to college, you need to get a job, you need to buy a house. And the only way to do that is you got to go to school and get an education, because them coming to America, they didn't have that education. So they felt like that was their like opus to the American dream, so to say, right? So I went to school, tried to go to school, tried to get good grades, but, found sports and tried to be an athlete. And, that was the more common way.
Yeah.
You can also see yourself getting out of your environment. And, I did that, and I was very passionate about it. I really enjoyed it. I played football, and, one day I got hurt, just to sum it up. And after I got hurt, I realized being 5'7", my gift was like speed and agility and being athletic. And the knee injury I had just didn't enable that. I wasn't tall, wasn't strong. In that era, like football players had to be of a certain stature, or you had to be like uniquely incredible. And I just wasn't uniquely incredible in that kind of way. So the inspiration for my music career kind of came from a few of my friends that were aspiring talent as well, like trying to be like, yo, we're gonna get a record deal. And I was like, that was really cool, because, these guys who I thought were really good at what they were doing, and that was kind of like popping up around town and whatnot, like a lot of people going to the local studios, putting out records, and almost like trying to create a music industry in where we were from. And that kind of created like this competitive vigor, like, all right, how are we gonna do better than those guys, or better than these guys, or that gal, and how can we create opportunity? Now we're back to watching what we watch on music videos. And started as like a little party promoter, promoting parties. And that kind of like, once we were able to do that, that kind of said, oh, I can make money from this. Because I would actually go like to brokers, rent it out, put out flyers.
Brokers, that's crazy.
Brokers is crazy. Yeah. You lose on it back then. We wasn't getting no money. It was like 17 years old. And but we did something, and we lost money, but the fact that some of it came back, and the word of mouth, and engaging, and kind of turning into a salesman, all kind of like the fundamentals of business that you understand now as an adult. We were doing then, and having my friends were really the bedrock of me, like really having a want or aspiration to see if I could really do it. And it was really more for them than it was ever for me, because I felt like I had no talent. I can't rap, I can't sing, and now I got a peg leg. So it was like, what can we do? Well, my value is I'm real good. My parents want me to go to school. At the time, I was going to be an aspiring doctor. I was going to go pre-med. And I really didn't like it. And I had an internship at a pharmaceutical company. I had to like wear like dress clothes and buy shoes from Aldo. But that was like a stark contrast to when I was like hanging out in the nightclubs and promoting parties in high school. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like that. And I felt like because I was in this environment where I wasn't being myself, because I have to like be somebody else to kind of like progress to one day be a doctor. Doing the music stuff on the side with my friends became like an outlet of enjoyment. And one day, one of my friends said to me, we were all trying to figure out how could we beat the rat race of trying to get a record deal, because that was the only way to get seen, heard, or discovered. And I said, well, why don't I just go work at a record company? And they said, fuck out of here. You can't do that. It's like, no, I can do it. I bet you. What if I got in, learned it, and then I can now be the guy that signed y'all?
Yeah. Like you create a back door.
Yeah. Like create our own thing. And they were like, nah. But for real? I said, yeah, it's real. We just got to find the people. And back then, we used to buy a lot of music.
Mhm.
CDs would drop every Tuesday. We go buy them, read the liner notes, know the people. So, Source Magazine, Double XL, Vibe, any of those magazines, I used to carry a notebook. Any of those liner notes from CDs or from those magazines, I would literally write down any name of any executive, producer, songwriter, artist, any one of the contributing staff. And that kind of became my base drop for my education of who does what where and where I can fit in. If I was to get into a record company, how would I do it? And one day, back then they had this big contact list. It was called All Access, and you can pay like $39.99 and get hundreds of emails and phone numbers to offices of music executives. I bought it, got their fax numbers back then, and I would go to my day job where I was interning, and I would literally one day I faxed 88 resumes to all these record companies. Only two people called me back. Sony and Star Trak.
Mm.
Now, Sony, I was really, really excited about because Nas is my favorite rapper.
Mm.
And he was signed to Columbia. And I was like, if I can get close to that, I get a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
I get to learn, I get to be with my guy. You feel me? But long story short, a friend of mine, he was sending one of those said guys was sending his demo to all the labels, but he was going different. On top of what we were doing, he was like trying to do backdoor shit too, like get his demos to like the smaller imprint or joint ventures that I didn't even understand back then. So he had a contact to Star Trak. He said, yo, I got Star Trak on the phone. I talked to one of the A&R guys. I said, you lying. He said, I could put you on the phone with him right now. Picks up the phone, calls him. He said, yo, my boy here wants to intern. You should talk to him. The kid on the other line said, sure, tell him come to the office. I was like, this is not real. Get up, and I go there. Dressed in a suit. And long story short, I chose that as an internship.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my like first start in the business.
Why'd you choose Star Trak over Sony?
Well, I went and interviewed at both of them, but the Sony thing at the time was called Sony Urban Music before they broke it up and put it back together again, and it was it felt very big. It didn't feel it was exciting but a little bit intimidating because it was a big company. I was like one of maybe like 5 interns. We all sat in a room. We didn't really have we interviewed with one person. They were like, sure, you can intern. Let's do it. Back then, you didn't have to go through college. You would just go and work for free. But the person that I interviewed with, I can't remember who it was. I just didn't find them interesting enough to want to spend my free time doing that.
Yeah.
But when I went to Star Trak, and it was like this small company with just a handful of people. And the lady who interviewed me, she was very knowledgeable about what she was doing. And she was very intent on like, you need to learn, and this is like serious business. This is like a Black-owned business, and you know the hits are all over the radio. And this guy Pharrell, and we run a tight ship here, and it's really a family. And I just like, oh, this is where I need to be. And that person that hired me, who gave me that shot, was actually a good friend of mine to this day. Her name was Nicole Planton, and she hired me as my first job when I chose to go to Star Trak.
Oh, it's dope. So you transitioning, and I'm gonna jump all over.
Yeah.
Because I'm just asking questions I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Like I don't even care about the audience at this point. When you're making that jump, so you had this whole plan where you're like, all right, I'm gonna like finesse my way in there, and I'm gonna build in this back door so we can sign you guys. That continued to be the plan. Like you guys were still powwowing and doing strategy sessions every week,
day.
or you got swallowed by the machine.
A little bit of both happened. So yes, that was the thing. I was really going in and recounting my experience and telling what I'm seeing and just trying to like touch. And really the whole premise of the opportunity is like I was just so hungry and on the pursuit for information. Like who do I need to meet? What do I need to know? Where do I get it from? How does this work? How does that work? What's that? What's this? How do people get signed? Oh, this is the demo box. Oh, bro, that demo you sent up here, that shit is in a box. You know what I'm saying? There's a kid in there listening to it, but he's just listening to it in his free time. He's not like listening with intentful purpose. He's just like, all right, put it on. Is it good? Toss it. I'm like, oh wow. So I learned a lot about the demo submission process and being solicited versus unsolicited. Watch how like the framework of marketing and hearing Pharrell on the phone was like blew mine. It's like guy I watch on TV, I can actually talk to him on the phone. So that was in itself was a little bit overstimulating too, because it was like now these people that we're aspired to get in touch with, that we've been trying to. I tell all my friends back then at the time, I was like, if I would tell you what would happen or what I've seen or who I'm talking to, no one would believe me, right? And that kind of like that did two things at one time. It like strengthened our bond and their trust and belief in me, but also stressed it too, because now I'm on a full scale like learning trajectory. So it's like going back to school. And I found so much interest and passion in doing that for myself, and also knowing that I'm doing something good for my people. I dropped out of school.
Career parents ain't gonna mess with that.
Parents was pissed. But I dropped out of school, and I had like odd jobs on the weekends just to fund my bus ticket to get into the city because they weren't paying me. And I was working telemarketing jobs overnight. I was raking yards, mowing lawns, like just doing like whatever I could to just have
keep that education going.
Yeah, because it's like once you get in, it's like everybody doesn't get in. And I felt so lucky that I got like this window and found these people. Like it was so perfect, it was divine to a degree. So I just never wanted to take it for granted. So I was first one in, last one out. I would literally go in early before everybody just for good face, just to say like, all right, this kid is serious. And then I'd stay late, finish my work, and any little thing laying around, I would go read it. We had to do I learned a lot about like music sync and licensing because Pharrell would get, the Neptunes at the time would get so many like requests to put their songs in commercials or TV shows, and I would read all those things. I got so good at them, I started understanding the language. I could literally write my own contract if I wanted to. Answering phones every day. I remember Pusha T would call me every Monday for like 2 years just to find out what the sound scan result was going to be on Tuesday. Okay. So it was my first time like talking to a rapper that was calling to talk to me. Yeah. That blew my mind too. So, and this is going back to like 2002, 2003 almost. So, yeah, it was just like that part was like an incredible moment, because that's when I finally decided like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. And now everything I've been through now makes sense. And I just never look back.
So, like in my own experience, when I started on this whole like media journey and like just, I wouldn't even know what to call it. It's like so many blurred lines, like consulting, media, like, you know, running around. Like I would see things. I would go places like I'm leaving home, I'm leaving my friends, I'm leaving what is, I guess, everyday life for me. Yep. And I'm going to all these fantastical places and chilling with people that like I never thought I'd meet before, seeing the craziest things. And then when you come back, like there's a little bit of a disconnect. Maybe it's just me, but like how do you balance this fantastical experience where it's like you have rappers calling you and you're around people watching on TV and you have access to things, and then over time people are asking your opinion because maybe they're picking up on, maybe you have a point of view or a perspective that's interesting. Yep. And now you got to go home and the people around you don't get it. They're going to work on Monday. They don't understand what's going on. Or even your friends that they're looking at you, and again, I might be wrong, you're the lifeline to the label, but you're in this whole other situation where you have commitments and all this other stuff. Like that had to be a lot.
That was tough for a long time. Again, it's like great thing, trust, belief. And I think those group of guys saw me in a new light that they had never been able to like experience me in before. But it put a lot of stress on it because it now became about like over time, obviously, but you know, my interest and is like my life seems like it's taking off. And now I got my way out. But no one else has their way out.
Yeah.
So there's like this magnetic pull that pulls you back to be like, all right, I got to go back and do this. And yeah, the contrast was tough for a while because it'd be like, but I came back with enthusiasm, like, guys, this is what's happening. Here's the education. We got to one up on everybody because I see it. I'm dealing with it. I know who's talking about what in these conversations, and it's still at a level wasn't good enough, depending on what day of the week it was. So that part was really tough for a long time. But it's like, like as you grow up and as you mature, you got to let things go. And I think as we all grew up and we got older, everyone started coming to terms with, okay, he really did the work though.
Yeah.
And he really sacrificed. And he still did it. Now, whether it was appreciated, I think it was appreciated. But I think as time went on, people started to understand, like, oh, he's going for it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, again, I never looked back. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, once you make the decision, you make the decision. It's just I don't want to say leaving people behind, but like feeling responsible or.
Yeah, I always felt responsible. I gave more than I really thought I did. But you don't realize what you're doing while you're doing it. You're just doing it. It's like second nature. But I put a lot of energy and time and sacrifice into that piece of it. Not for any charity or any philanthropy, but more for I really believed in it. Yeah. I really believed that this group of folks were guys that could compete.
You were committed to the plan.
Yeah. I really believe, and I still do to a certain degree, like that music that we created in that time and what we were doing was competitive with what was out. We just didn't have the same means. And coming from New Jersey, it's not we're like the redheaded stepchild to New York City.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you go in? How do you network? So in one aspect, I kind of skipped a lot of steps, but I still took the stairs. Yeah. If it makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
So I just think for that time, that really shaped not only my belief, but my education. Because on the weekends, I was doing this thing with the guys. And I was getting I was touching it, like touching the work. And I could go to work and practice it. Right? So that gave me like a duality that I think really, really fast-tracked my learning apparatus. You feel me?
Got you.
And it really like put me in prime position because I was able to use a multitude of skills just to do my basic internship. Right? Because I'm in the studio, so I can tell them about studio shit. I know producers. I have this institutional knowledge of who's producing what. So if I'm at work with Pharrell and them, I can go into a room. I'm like, oh, I know who you are. And I can reel off their resume. And they're like, wow, kid, who are you? Like, how you find? This is before the internet. This is like Y2K.
Yeah.
We were on there weren't even no Blackberries yet. There were Star Trak pages.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Where you would beam somebody info. But that was the era we was in. So that was kind of like my way of showing my dedication and passion to the work I was doing. So that really helped me out a lot because the Pharrell experience was such a unique experience. I'd never seen nothing like that. He would literally go into a studio and rent out every room. And every room had something going on. Like one room would be Mariah. Another room was Gwen Stefani. Another room was Nelly. Another room was Beyonce. Another room was this one and that one. And he would just circulate the room for hours, the different rooms for hours. And you would just go into these different rooms, different artists, different managers, different labels, different teams. And I got to get a real fast track point of view about like the network of the music business.
And it's like, it sounds like this very like sink or swim kind of education system
It
or
was
environment.
so overwhelming. It was like it was just you're in there starstruck. It's like I watch these people on TV now. I have to act normal because
Yeah.
there's like an etiquette that's unsaid that you
Yeah,
just
don't be
have.
weird.
Don't be weird.
Yeah.
Don't come in here and be like, "Can I get your autograph?" It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
don't get a picture. Just do the work.
Yeah.
And they're in there like, "Hey, you're so sweet. You're so nice." And
Mm.
when I was asked to speak, I spoke. If I wasn't asked to speak, I didn't speak.
Mhm.
And really just have to kind of like get that down pat. And that
Gotcha.
helped me out a lot. So that experience, those experiences were just like priceless. It kind of like they kind of like became like my part of the burning fire in my belly to go to the top as fast and as far as I can. You know what I'm saying?
So following Star Trek, like you get this crash course in the music business and this whole education. What's the next step? Like, what's the next label? Where do you transition after that?
Well, there's two things. I went to Def Jam right after, but that's the
Mhm.
most notable one.
Yeah.
What really happened was I was working at Star Trak and I got fired.
Mm.
I lost my job. I lost my job, which was incredible because I had just started getting paid too.
Yeah.
I had graduated from an intern and became a office assistant,
Mhm.
and I started making $500 a week.
Yeah.
That was more than what I was making on the weekends, cleaning trash and doing telemarketing. You feel me? So that was just a blessing. I remember I went to my mother's like, I found it. I'm getting paid. It's over. Not
Mhm.
going back.
I'm good.
School's
Yeah.
over. It's a wrap. Quitting my other job. I'm quitting this job. Quitting school. It's over. I remember she was pissed, and I just said, "Here's where we are. I'm doing this." I lost my job, just being irresponsible in certain ways, but the irresponsibility that I did, and I'll tell you that later. But it was really more about. It was more of a honest mistake than something that you get like a penalty for doing something bad.
Yeah.
So what happened was I went there and I had built this again, it's a family net environment. And basically what happened was I used to stay late
Mhm.
in the building and I just was in the building too late
Mhm.
without authority.
Got you.
And I got fired from the building because building security was like, this kid's not supposed to be here after hours. My key card was shut off.
Mhm.
Not supposed to be there after. So because of that formality got me pushed out.
Got you.
I remember being devastated by it, and but working with the Star Trak folks, it was such a tight knit family, and the relationships were so strong. They were like, "Look, we'll find something for you," and they literally would pick up the phone and was calling people for me to work with.
Mm.
And before I went to Def Jam, I started working with Cipha Sounds
Got you.
because Cipha was an A&R at Star Trak.
Mhm.
And he was starting his like comedy business and management business. It was called Jack Move, and he had his partner with him, Jamal Landlord, who was Jump Shot Jay. And those guys took me in and allowed me to come in, and now this is my first brush with radio promotions because Cypher was working at Hot 97.
Yeah.
Incredible experience again. So now I'm learning promotions because Cypher's in the clubs. He would call, all the labels would send him records. And also one of our marketing people too, no, our radio person at Star Trak had just left as well. She just wanted to move on. Her name was Donna Grin. Now Donna's like the
Yeah.
CCO at Republic Records right now. But we all kind of like, we didn't start together, but she was like my OG back then. And she was doing radio promotions. I started learning the radio promotions game from her. And that again was a skill set I was able to take back home. We got to go to the radio stations. Mm-hmm. We got to go to the DJs. This is how you get heard. This is how you get seen. Now, this is the era of Joe Button, Fabulous,
Yeah.
A-Team. All the New York mix shows are playing like their artists from the different boroughs, and Jersey was getting like a good look. So that started that evolution for me. And as time went on, I'll never forget, I went to Def Jam one day while I was working at Star Trak, and they had an artist named Fam Lay signed to Star Trak. But he was signed to Def Jam through the Star Trak imprint.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to go up to I'd have to go up to Def Jam to go get records to bring back to the Star Trak office.
Yeah.
So one day I went up there and I went into the 825 building. I was just mesmerized. I was like, oh, I got to work here. This is where it's at.
Yeah.
All the rappers, your favorite rappers, blah, 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 blah. So,
And by then it was less intimidating because you had the whole crash course at.
I was pretty good because I was like, I knew a lot of people already. So, but now I know. Like,
Yeah.
I go up, I meet Sam Crespo. When it's, I was like, Def Jam vinyl, the logo, the insignia. Walking in the building was very dramatic. Like, the Def Jam building is very dramatic. So, it was like walking into like heaven, so to say.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, I'm gonna work here, no matter what. And I left, went back to Jack Move, and I went back to Jack Move, but I wasn't getting paid. I was just an intern again, right back to start from the beginning. And I met this guy named Theo Brown. And he was working as the street team guy at TVT, and I met him on the phone because I would just meet people. I was just like collecting relationships, and he had got promoted and got a job at Def Jam, replacing the legendary Rob Love, who did all the DMX, all the Shine, all like the greatest street team campaigns of Def Jam's second phase run, right? So he's like, yo, I'm about to get a job. I could probably come intern for me. You gotta do that. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna come intern for you. What made that amazing for me was when Jay became the president of Def Jam. Same time.
Gotcha.
But I had met Jay with Pharrell. I remember I called Pharrell one day and I said, yo, interning at Def Jam. And he was like, oh, I'm going to call Jay for you. He called Jay-Z. And that's how we got cool with Jay-Z. That's how I got cool with Jay-Z and that. And that kind of set me off again. And from Street Team, I met my good friend, Kendall, a.k.a. Young Sav, and we kind of started our journey. Interning, doing radio promotions, and we just got really good, and we just started climbing the ladder. The rest was kind of history after that.
That's fire. I remember. Gee, I'm trying to remember. Like, I remember the whole Def Jam announcement when they announced Jay was going to be president. I remember, what cover was that? Double XL.
Yeah, they did that. He was already the president. They did. He brought back Foxy. He took control of Rockefeller. It was pretty significant at the time. It was like, wowzer.
And so to go back to the original statement of like the whole surreal thing, I remember experiencing this from the outside. I remember reading the magazines and consuming this and all of this other stuff. And you were like in the middle of it, like navigating all
Fly
this.
on the wall. And because we were on the street team, we would get to go out to the nightclubs with the artists. So we'll meet the artists. They'd be like, yo, it's my boy right there, passing out flyers, taking them to radio stations. And that's when I met one of my first mentors. His name was Benny Pough. He was the head of radio promotions at the time. And I used to sit outside his office every day because Theo would come. I would come early, 8 a.m. in the morning. Theo wouldn't get to the 10 o'clock. So Theo and Benny's office were like side by side, but Benny's lounge and couch they shared a lounge and a couch. So I'd be in Benny's lounge every morning. He'd be like, why are y'all here so early? And I'm like, why are you here so early? Anyway, we built a relationship, and that's how he taught me radio, and that's how I really ended up getting my skills really sharpened on like radio promotions, radio marketing, regional promotions, and just climbing that kind of career ladder. Then we got a job, started getting paid, started making a real salary, and then it was like, oh, this shit is happening, and I'm getting recognized by not just my peers, but the artists. And then that also is a game changer because now they're shouting us out on records. And we're doing things and still going back home to the hood.
So now fast forward, you're getting the job, you're getting paid, you're going back. Where are you at with the plan now with everybody?
Still doing it. Still doing it.
And this had to be like, this was years.
No, this is like 2002 to like 2005 or 6.
Yeah.
That window.
So where were you guys at in the plan? I definitely want to ask you about Def Jam. I don't know if anybody cares about the story, but like I'm still like entranced. Like what happened with the guys? Like,
Oh, same shit.
yeah.
Ebb and flow. They're like, all right, all right, all right. I was like, just wait, just wait. We were figuring out, but I was getting their records on the radio.
Mhm.
I was getting their records to all the DJs. I met all the DJs, Flex, Mr. C, Camilo, all Clue, Envy.
Mhm.
You start meeting all the rap guys around the city.
Mhm.
Now you're giving them records, they start playing it for you. I work in promotions, I'm getting records,
And you learn
B-sides.
how to, yeah.
I'm giving them the records like, yo, this record's not even out. You can rap on this. We'll put it out. People's gonna think it's your record as the record's coming out. So I'm giving little tips. We're getting little shit off. It just couldn't scale because that was like the bridge of get it out your trunk indie era. We didn't really understand that. It was always like, let's just get to the major and they'll create the star for you.
Got you.
And that's kind of like one of the first misconceptions I was blinded by. Like, you know, if I could just, it was always like a destination endpoint. If I could just get you here, everything else would take off after that.
And in the process of skipping over mad stuff, you miss like several like integral things that.
Yeah, like you
had
got to
to-
go. We did it. Like I did the work, but we weren't able to like collateralize the work we were doing, if that
Gotcha.
makes sense. So it was
Yeah.
like, instead of like putting out like freestyles, we should have been dropping mixtapes. And we did start doing that type of stuff, but you know, you do it piece here, piece there, piece there. Is like, you're not like, it's not dense. It's not
Gotcha.
like keep doing it, repetition. It wasn't repetition. It was like, let's try that. Do a single, do a remix, do a mixtape.
So it wasn't like a set strategy. You guys were just.
Wherever I got an opportunity, I would just fill the gap.
Gotcha.
Yo, do a show, do that show, do that, do that. So as the eras are evolving, now it's like the freshman cover era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we gotta get on the freshman cover. So now it's like, how do you politic that? Can't politic it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have some shit going. You gotta be signed to a major record company.
Mhm.
Look at the record companies. Who's the A&R people? Now we're close. Now I'm running through Def Jam, meeting all the A&R people. But I'm not telling them what I'm doing on the outside. I'm just kind of like just getting cool. Hey, what you think about this? And what you think about that? Trying to use that feedback to kind of inspire the guys. You
Gotcha.
feel me? But again, not really encapsulating momentum. Just kind of just here, there. And that went on for like, no lie, like 10 years.
Got you.
My first 10 years, that's what it was. That's what I
Still
was
trying to create that backdoor. So you're at Def Jam. You finally you're far removed from being an intern. You got a position over there, and I know it's like filling the gap for me because you at some point connect with Nipsey Hussle.
Yes. So how that happened was, this is kind of like after being a radio promoter for like 4 or 5 years, I felt like we got really good at it. Meaning I just wasn't feeling like I was learning anymore. Like I had already memorized all 3 major radio panels between urban, rhythm, and pop. All the call letters, the stations, the operation managers, the day parts, the on-air personalities, the mix show DJs, what time they spend, what time they get off, who's their mix show. Like I just had too much encyclopedic information I memorized. It started to get boring. So, and what we were taught at Def Jam in the heyday of like the explosion of Kanye and the Rihannas and the working all those records and all the Freeways and the Fabulouses and the Nas's and doing all of that as well, you kind of get to the place where it's like, all right, well, this shit is just boring. I don't want to just be their radio guy. We're taught you don't decide the pizzas. You don't make the pizzas. You deliver them hot. That's what we was taught.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they give you. You smile and you get that shit played. So you learn like this grind tactic of like getting it. And that was like very tiresome. And I found it to be, I thought it was a dead end. And I was like, you know what? I want to make the records because they're giving us records that I think are bad records. But I can't say that because that's rule of thumb. That's etiquette. Promotion people don't say what record is good; they get it played.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to make the record. So I was like, I'm already making records with my friends, so I have like an ability. Because when I talk to the A&R guys, I see what they go to the studio, they pick beats, they talk to producers.
So you kind of have an idea of what people are looking for, what's working, and
I just couldn't correlate it to what I was doing, but I was doing the same shit.
Yeah.
I just, because I hadn't been in a professional circumstance since Pharrell that was actually doing that. And he wasn't doing that. He was producing the records.
Yeah.
He was like on his keyboard playing shit. And I don't play music. And that kind of really like, when I realized that that's what I was doing, I said, oh, I could do this. So I met Nipsey at a Double XL freshman shoot. We would go there because, you know, you get around town, you meet all the who's who, and Def Jam had an artist on the cover at the time. I think it was Big Sean. And I went to the shoot, and at this time we were shooting content, and that's how I met Nipsey. And I was like, yo, always a cool guy. I was like, yo, your legend precedes you. You feel me? He's like, yo, thank you. Super cripped out, blue, woo. And he was like, yeah, let me get you. He's like, where you work at? I was like, I work at Def Jam. So working at Def Jam also was like a clout thing too. Yeah. It was like, you're from Def Jam. It's not like you're from Atlantic. Like, you're from Def Jam. And he's like, yo, let me get your number. So we connected, but we was cool, but he was still signed to Epic. And I was working at Def Jam. So that's how we kind of like met and just kind of like came cool. But we were distant because he wasn't really good on the phone. You feel me? And I really had no concept or context of what he was going through at that time. You just see rappers. I go to work. I go home. We outside. So, yeah, that's how we first got together.
So Nipsey's at Epic. You're at Def Jam. Obviously, there's like a conflict of interest there. At what point do you guys connect and begin working with each other? Because you already have like the access, and now you're developing the relationship. You have the rapport. What's the transition to, okay, like, let's figure out how to work together?
So now fast forward maybe like a year or two later, Nipsey's out of his Epic deal. It's pretty loud and proud. But they were promoting him as like the failed jewel, like the kid that never was. Like he was, it felt like this. I'm sure there's like some stories, and you know, like it was the blog era at the time. So a lot of like journalists and hip hop press would come up with these lists and these things of like, yo, he was supposed to be the next Snoop Dogg, and it didn't happen. Yeah. And from a distance, you could understand why it reads that way. But we would come in contact because now he's on this independent grind. And it was like, bro, that's weird. Like, don't do that. This shit is too hard. But I'm speaking from where I'm at with my friends. It's like, this is really hard. Like, we're trying to, it doesn't work. And being in the record companies, they don't pay attention to that stuff. And as we would have like these sporadic like catch-ups, I was like, yo, well, look, I fuck with you, and you got good energy. He was smart. He told me one time we were just talking, and he came up with some term I never heard of before. It's called vertically integrated. Yeah. I was like, what is that? And he was explaining it to me, and I'm like, wow. Okay, well, if that's the case, I'll teach you radio promotions. He's like, you would? I was like, I'll show you one of the budgets. He's like, you would? I gave him a budget. Then he started calling me every day. Every day he would call me like, he's like, this is how they do it. I was like, yeah, that's how they do it. He would just ask a lot of questions. I'll just give him a lot of answers. Just over the phone. But we became like really close, like pen pals over the phone, just talking over the phone and like emailing each other back and forth. But I was so excited to like be with him because I'm like, you know, I'm gonna convince this guy to go back into a record company. But he was like dead set against like, I'm not doing that. But he was still like popular. And we fell out of contact for like 6 months. He just stopped picking up the phone. He went cold. He just went cold turkey on me. I'm like, damn, what'd I do? Did I do something wrong? Did I offend him? I just didn't know. So this is where you gotta really respect your friends and really respect your relationships. One day, so ever since I had left Star Trak, the lady who hired me will always periodically check on me. Yeah. This was Nicole Planton. She calls me one day, hey, just checking on you. Hey, yo, I'm doing real good. I'm at the label. Got a job now. It's like I'm really learning a lot. Like I'm getting really noticed for what I'm doing. It's like, it's incredible. She's like, amazing, you know. I'm like, what you up to? And she's like, yo, I'm in publishing now. I work at this company called BMI. I'm like, BMI, what's that? She's like, yeah, I'm kind of like, work with I moved to LA from New York, kind of started a new life for myself. I said, that's amazing. She's like, I'm working with some cool acts. I'm working with like this kid named Kendrick Lamar, and I'm working with this kid named Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle? You talk to Nipsey Hussle? She said, yes, every day. What? This kid told her the story. She's like, I'm going to connect you right now.
Yeah.
She connects me, new phone number, connects me. Steve-O, my bad. I changed my phone number. I ain't have your number. But I swear to God, from the day she put us together, we were best friends.
Yeah.
Ever.
From that point on.
From that point on. Saying we picked up right where we left off. Yo, I got a new record I'm recording. This one he was recording Crenshaw.
Got you.
Well, it wasn't called Crenshaw then. It was called Victory Lap.
And then, yeah.
And he was doing it. And he was like, yo, I want to work a record. I got this record. Maybe you can help me work it at radio. Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's called Check Me Out with my friend Dom Kennedy. It's like, give it to me.
It's fire.
Started working it. But he put up his own money to work it. First time I ever seen that. Never seen an artist lift a finger to put in their pocket to give money to go work something. It's always the label. And he was showing me books he was reading. He's like, yo, you should read this book. Started reading the books. So then we really bonded on the book front. And he was like, yo, I'm coming to New York. I want you to meet some people. He came to New York, caught back up. So the first time I seen him in those 3 years or those 2 years, we got together. We hung out at a cigar bar. He's like, yeah, I think I got an idea. I think I'm gonna change the title of my album, and I'm going to sell it for $100. I read this book called Contagious. Here, read it. He's like, my mentor gave it to me. What? He's like, yeah, well, there's this Philly restaurant. It's a steakhouse. You know, Philly's known for cheesesteaks. And it's like, it was just tough, and they were trying to figure out how to stick out. Long story short, this restaurateur basically made a high-end cheesesteak for the steakhouse. He sold it for $100. Everybody was outraged. How dare you sell a $2 cheesesteak for $100? But the notoriety of the conversation brought in celebrities from around the world to come eat this $100 cheesesteak.
Yeah, because now you got to try it.
To see what the hype is about. Why is it $100? Oprah, all these famous actors, actresses, musicians, athletes. And he said, I'm going to do that with the mixtape. I said, you are losing your mind. I was not with it. He's like, it's going to work. I was like, it's not going to work. Mixtapes are free. What are you talking about? Fought him for weeks. He said, trust me. All of us on the team were like, all right. After a while, I was like, you know what? I read the book about social currency. Just said, he introduced me to his mentor, said the same thing. I said, that's really, the conviction was very compelling. And he said, we're going to do it. And I said, fuck it, let's do it. I'm with you. Win, lose, or draw, I'm with you. He's like, all right, I'm going to make it 3 tiers. I'm going to put out a free one on the street. I'm going to sell one for $100, and I'm going to do one for streaming on Dat Piff. And I'm going to do it as a Gangster Grills. So the free one will be the Gangster Grills. The paid one will be an album. The streaming would be on streaming, digital, when it was weird to stream shit back then. The rest is history.
Yo, I remember hearing about the $100 mixtape. I think I heard about it because I think Jay bought like mad copies or something like that.
That kicked it off because the fact that he did it, then it was like Emery somehow got in touch with everybody. He was like, yo, Jay's a big fan of what you're doing. I was like, yo, Emery called you? He's like, yeah, Emery called me. So Jay's a big fan of buying 10,000. They gave us $10,000 to buy 100 copies. Out of here. Then everybody started buying it and downloading it and streaming it. Then it just took on a life of its own. Yeah. All from the conviction of reading that book And it was one of the first times that, outside of him being special, but really seeing an artist see through a vision that he told me about 2 years ago and called a vertical integration. Like, I'm going to control every aspect from ideation to the supply chain. And that's what it was. He recorded it himself. He rapped it. He mixed it himself. He made the artwork in-house. He took the pictures in-house. He found the CD guy, pressed all the CDs himself, signed all the CDs himself, then was in his trunk, selling it out the trunk for, it was crazy. I've never seen that before.
And I mean, at this point,
and it was weird because I'm from here, East Coast. He was West Coast doing that. In the digital era, he was doing that. And shooting content and videos. It was just, it was unheard of. I'd never seen that. And he was spending all his own money. Weird.
Because, I mean, I'm sure at that point, like, he could have went to a label if he wanted to.
Yeah, after that, everybody was calling him. But prior to that, he had, like, this stigma to him about, like, his affiliation with gangs really, like, hindered or put a question mark on him in, like, the bigger ethos of, like, the different record companies. Like, there's, like, little rumors about little shit here and there. But that cloud definitely got, like, smited by the publicity of this mixtape.
Yeah.
And we just ran with it. Wherever I could add value, promotion, ideas, taking campaigns from the big artists that we had or I worked on, applying it into that same infrastructure.
Because at this point, you're still at Def Jam.
Yeah, still worked at Def Jam. And I said, y'all want to sign you. Then I was like, yo, you should come into Def Jam. It's Def Jam. When around Def Jam, politicking, how can we sign Nipsey Hussle? While my friends are at home. Could imagine that.
Yeah.
But we were so close. When he would come to New York, I would bring him with my guys. So like we would all hang out, do shit together. But he would always come by himself. He would get on a plane by himself and fly here, just be out here doing interviews, hanging out by himself.
It doesn't sound surprising.
It was weird because, you know, no rapper goes nowhere without an entourage or without a person or two. He was by himself all the time. And we would just talk for hours and hours and hours. Like, and I said, all right. He said, things started to pick up and he was on some shit like, well, what if, he's like, I don't want to sign to a record label, I'm signed to myself. But I felt like now that digital era was kicking in, so the shape of business deals in the record business were transitioning a bit. And they were more equitable. And he was like, well, I'm not doing it if it can't be like this. And Rick Ross started calling him. And he started getting offers. And I got to see all those things. I'd never seen a recording contract before. So I was able to, like, get it, read it, look through it. I'm like, this is a lot of money. I've never seen this kind of money before. And, that was my first brush with, like, being on the creative side of the ball. Yeah. And learning the business side of the creative side. I was on the promotion and marketing side, the digital side, but now I was getting invited by a credible act and a friend into the creative and business side of it. And he turned everybody down. They gave us the contract. I'll never forget it. He was in New York. They gave him the contract. He's like, yeah. He was always, like, cool, calm, collected, never, like, excited. He was proud of, like, the notoriety because press took it and ran with it. It was like a fire for weeks and months. And he became, like, this new staple of, like, what tomorrow's record business could look like with artists like this. You feel me? Who wanted to have full control over the apparatus. And people started coming with the offers like, hey, we want to be partners. And he was like, well, tell me what a partnership looks like. And people call, he would turn them shits down. I got Def Jam to get involved, turn them down. After they told me no, then he started chasing them and then he turned them down. And that was like a game changer because they were offering him, like, back then it was a lot of money for us. So, but yeah, that's how I got into, like, quote unquote A&R.
Got you.
And actually, like, signing my first artist. And it wasn't even like a signing that I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we were partners and we went to a record label.
Mm.
And they were just a distributor and marketing partner. He controlled everything.
That's dope. I mean, I think the thinking or the idea now is like it's a little bit more commonplace, especially in terms of the idea of like, you know, being vertically integrated and correct me if I'm wrong, the value of music as it goes down, like music now is like more of a marketing tool to attach to like a product or something like that.
Yeah, he always believed that like because music wasn't worth a lot. You know, this is the digital MP3 boom, iTunes store. So people like, damn, a song is now $1.29 or an album is $8.99. So it was like there was like a lot of like transition on the diminishing value of a product, right? And we had no more shelves to distribute albums to. We weren't really, you know, digital sales became the new like medium of like how we were earning record company dollars. Not him, but like the industry at large, right? So coming in that time was a weird place. So he always looked at it he called it vertical, but his business model was really horizontal. It was like, all right, well, if I can give unique experiences, if I can make customized material, if I can make clothes and products, all in this flywheel, I know how to extract a profitable scale on it. As opposed, I don't need to sell 1 million records.
Yeah.
That's over with. I don't care. He would say to me, I won't say the names he said, but he'd be like, yeah, that guy's #1 this week, but how much money did he make this week? Because I can tell you what I made this week. And that guy ain't make that. I know he didn't make it because they own it. And I own mine. So technically, I got more bread than him. Pay for my cars, pay for my jewelry, pay for my studio, pay for my crib, pay for my people. I think I'm doing well. I don't need to sell 1 million records. I don't need a platinum plaque to justify what doing well is. Because I can show you what my P&L looks like. Yeah. Never heard nobody say that before. It's crazy. Revolutionary, but crazy. And yeah, that's kind of like how he was starting to shape up. And same thing for me is like you come up with these ideas of grandeur that start to materialize. And it does something more than just breed confidence in you. Now it's like, I run around with it of lately. Now it's like, now you can be completely unreasonable. Yeah. Because now you can kind of just dream up anything you want because now you have the tools, expertise, and the experience of actually doing it. That was a game changer. So now a guy for me, in the parallel time when we actually did our partnership with Atlantic Records, now I get to go into I went there, he said, well, if I come here, he has to be my music guy. Now, this is unheard of in my era of the music business because not many marketing guys transition A&R. Yeah. Not black men. And to be able to go from that place there where they were telling me you absolutely will never be an A&R at Def Jam because you're a promotion guy to us. Promotion guys don't run companies. And I was so offended by that. But then he gave me the opportunity and said, this guy, he would tell Craig Kalman, the chairman at the time, this guy's my music person. And they made me the music person.
So now you transitioned to Atlantic.
Went to Atlantic to be an A&R. And
you still maintain, I would imagine, some of the relationships over at Def Jam.
No, I quit. Yeah, I quit. I literally went to my boss and I told him, and by the way, my boss, we're great friends to this day. It was a tough time because, you know, like the promotions ecosystem is a family. It's like a cult. It's like a gang. It's like we all stick together. You don't go against the formation. You follow the sequence, and you shut up. You do what you're told, and they'll promote you when it's time. You don't ask to be promoted. They promote you when they feel like promoting you. You don't ask those things. And here I'm coming out of line, out of sequence, like, yo, I want to be an A&R. They're like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with you? You're nuts. My friends back home are telling me, you're making a risk. You're going to lose your job again.
Mm.
And I was. They were threatening to like replace me. It's like, this guy's not focused. He wants to go run off over there with those people because the company was two places. It's like in a sports team. There's the offense and then there's defense.
Yeah.
There's the creative people and then there's the actual people that do the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's framed. And they're like, he wants to go over there with them, so let him go. But he ain't going to do it here. And I was like, all right. It's quietly, me and him were working on this thing. They're like, why are you going with that kid over there? Everybody's like, that ain't going to work. He's gang affiliated. There's stories and rumors all around town about him, about how difficult he is to work with, and the doors that will be slammed in his face because he's so counterculture to the record business, because of his affiliations in the street. Nobody wants to deal with that. But that's the guy who told the chairman to make me the music guy.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
So I went over there with him.
And listening to that, it almost sounds counter what the idea of hip hop originally was, which is like, it was counterculture. It was like anti-institution and everything. And now it's sort of like you're at a point where it's this corporate idea where it's just like the music and the business are like kind of like two separate things. Unless I'm wrong. Like, but it sounds like the guys who are operating the logistics or doing the, I guess, the day-to-day stuff, and the people who are operating creative are like sort of on different pages.
Yeah, but you got to understand too the era that is. To me, when I came in, that version of the record business was like Negro spirituals. There was no books to read it in. There was no place to like get encyclopedic, like, how did this work?
Yeah.
It was almost like street niggas was selling millions of records.
Yeah.
Like, niggas off the street was the new entrepreneur. We have never seen that before.
Yeah.
We've seen it, we've heard about it, but it was never documented like that. And now you got, this is the content era. You're talking about post Rockefeller, post Rough Riders, post DTP, post all those No Limit, post Cash. You're talking about all these things. There was no blueprint for that. You only saw it on TV, or you learned it from listening to the rap records. You learned about Murder Inc. You learned about Dame. You learned about Baby from rap records. There was no book, at least to my knowledge at the time, there was no material available to go and find out the history of your rap music. It was always about like KRS-One.
You had to piece it together through the music.
Yeah, it was always about like, there was like, oh yeah, there's LL Cool J, and there's that generation of pioneers. You knew about Run DMC, but you didn't know too much outside of what we learned it from watching Belly. We learned it from, you get it?
Yeah.
So it was like, there was no
I
material.
feel like that's a terrible movie, by the way.
Yeah, but what it was, you saw yourself in it. You saw guys like...
Cinematography was fire.
Yeah, but you never saw it like, man, it's like, I don't know. That shit was
that
like...
being said, I saw it for the first time last year because people criticized me. They're like, how did you
it
not
was
see
the
Belly?
first time you just...
Last year, yeah. For the first time ever.
Well, if you would have watched it in like 98, this is at the height of Nas being Nas.
Yeah.
This is at the height of DMX selling millions of records.
Yeah.
It shifted culture. It made people, it was crazy. But again, these are the only things we had that we can use as reflection to tell us how things work.
Yeah, so I experienced it without like the whole cultural impact.
Yeah,
and
then the material that we did, I'm wrong, we had the magazines.
Gotcha.
So if you got these little one-off interviews with Dame or Irv or D or Y, that's how you really learn about who did what. And you just took those one stories and they just became the gospel.
Yeah, I remember high school, like even before that, like I would like snatch those magazines out of like wherever you could get them at.
Wherever you can get them at.
And just...
So imagine us from Jersey getting those and North Jersey, and you just like, that shit is attainable.
Yeah.
Again, there's these themes that you see yourself where other people may not naturally see you. But if they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
And being with him, that was my lesson. It was like, oh, he see me. He see me and I can do it. My job couldn't see me. My peers couldn't see me. My friends.
He gets it.
he's like, if that's your ambition, you want to do that, let's do it.
And at that point, like, he was right. Like, you saw it. Like, this guy had a vision. He had a track record of being right. Why wouldn't you go with him?
You know what's crazy? What we really bonded on is a book we both read at different times, but when we connected, we talked about it. It's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Love that book.
And I didn't find that book until I was in my mid-20s. And I wish I had it when I was 13. So now all of my nieces and nephews or friends or family, when they turn about 13, I give them the book. I buy it from them. I have dozens of copies in my crib, like brand new, just to give it. Because what I learned in it wasn't, and the book outlined something very specific for me. And I remember reading it, was like, I'm never doing that. Again, it was kind of like I was telling you with my friends, like we were skipping steps and not collateralizing what we were doing. And it was like, if you want to be successful in anything, you got to work in all the departments. And you got to kind of go around and get your institutional learning about every aspect of the things you want to be ahead of. It's like you got to be in the sales department, in the marketing department, in this department, in R&D, and this and that. And I remember like, I don't got time for this. I'm 25. These guys are making millions by 25. I got to get on that track and trajectory now. I don't got time to work around it. But by the time I had got with Hussle, when he gave me the opportunity to be the music person to Craig Kalman, that was the last thing I had conquered. I had been in radio, I had been on the street team, I had been in marketing, I've been in digital, I've been in content all those years, made a name for myself, and now I'm doing this. People couldn't understand how they making that guy from that an A&R person over here. That started my 10,000 hours.
And once you got into Atlantic and you became the A&R, like...
Over with. That's why people think I lived in L.A.
Yeah.
Because now I was just damn near in L.A. every day with him, doing records. And it was so funny. I get to Atlantic, and at the time, Jezzy, who had been at Def Jam his entire career, was also like transitioning into a new role. Craig Kalman gave him a label deal for his label CTE and gave him like an executive role in the A&R department. So we go into an A&R meeting. I get to go into A&R meetings now. One of my first when he's in it. So everybody's like, ooh, that's Jezzy. Jezzy's urban folklore legend at this time. And I think he just came off the recession. And we're in there. And he like, yo, Steve, what's up, my nigga? Everybody's like, you know Jezzy? Again, an artist relationship. He's like, yeah, he with me. That's my man. I've been on tour with Jezzy. I done worked his records. I done taken him to radio stations. I done put up his posters. I've slept in his bus. I've met his family. So now as you see an A, like, it's like going to your granny house with your cousin, but you're not at a regular place. No, you're at a outside place. And he's like, yo, Steve, he's like, yo, you working? Yeah, I'm working. He's like, all right, let me call Craig. Steve's with me now. He's gonna run my label. He makes me the president of his label. So not only did I get an A&R job, now I got a president title. Badge of honor. Now I still got to go back home.
And talk to the guys.
He's like, you got a record deal, you're A&R, and now you have an executive role. I was like, I can't do that though. That's not how it works. But I started my 10,000 hours on both sides. I'm in LA, I'm in the studio with Jezzy. Then now Jezzy comes off his hiatus. He was doing this role for like a year and a half, comes off his hiatus to do a new album. Now we're doing that. That was when we did Seen It All. So now I'm A&R and Seen It All now.
That's crazy. I love that joint.
But now with one person that, when I got into the record business, I always wanted to be, my favorite company was a company called Hip Hop since 1978. So I looked at, it was like G. Roberson and Kayambo Joshua. They called them Hip Hop. Never seen them, never heard of them, just always hear about them on songs, Jay-Z records. I was like, I got to be this guy. I always wanted to be him. And I remember Jeezy's like, you want to meet hip hop? That's my boy. You gonna introduce me to hip hop? He's like the greatest A&R of all time. He said, yeah, you could A&R my album with him, But you can A&R my album, but he's gonna help me too, so y'all could do it together. Now I get to
work with him.
We did seen it all. Me and Nipsey in the studio now. I seen Crenshaw. Now we're doing Mailbox Money. But we're trying to record his debut album, Victory Lap. And we're just studio grind. But I'm bouncing between his studio and Jeezy's studio. Getting all my wherewithal. And because I was at Def Jam as a radio promotion, now his label's building up, there was an idea of, there was another kid from the West Coast that was cool with Nipsey. And his name was YG. And YG, Def Jam's an East Coast label. He's a West Coast guy. A guy named Max Goose signed YG. He had signed him with tried to sign him, Ty Dolla $ign, all that one time, that whole, and Mustard, all in that era. But us as Def Jam, we could never get it off the ground. We just couldn't figure it out. East Coast label, West Coast, different market. Radio markets were different. On the East Coast, there's a lot of urban stations. On the West Coast, there's rhythm stations. They play, it's different.
Yeah.
There's an idea that came up like, yo, maybe if Jeezy takes YG, we can kind of create this whole new kind of like Rockefeller-centric movement.
Yeah.
I'm with Nipsey. Him and YG are tight, which is already another genre-bending moment because one is affiliated with one side, another one's affiliated on the other side.
Yeah.
And just from taboo, that don't go together. And then now you put Jeezy in the middle of it, and now we're working on records, we're doing shit, putting it together, and that starts saying, now I'm working with YG, Jeezy, and Nipsey. So now I'm circulating this thing, but I'm the A&R person. I just want to just be the music person. And I just learned a lot, just going through that cycle, being with them, working on their records, and worked on all those debut albums all in one window. Then after that, long story short, Jeezy's deal didn't work out at Atlantic. Time expired on it. I was in a weird place because Nipsey now is on a hiatus.
Yeah.
He's just going through we're all evolving as men. Things are changing in his life. His brother had went to jail at the time. He was still raising his kids. There was a lot coming in, a lot going on. Well, really, that we had built a studio and he lost the studio, unfortunately. And we have invested a lot of time and money in building it up and kind of making it like his safe haven. Because he was like, I'm going to be vertically integrated. So if I get my own studio, I don't have to buy a studio from nobody. I have to rent time. And that went bad. So he went through like a rough patch, just trying to like transition well to get back into a space to kind of do records. And while he was doing that, I kind of weaved on the other side. I was still in LA every week with him, but now I'm splitting my time with working on these other projects. So now Atlantic's up. Atlantic's frustrated with him. They're like, yo, we're not getting the album. I'm like, I don't know what y'all want me to tell you. I'm not going against them. They're like, well, you start to feel the footsteps. Like they're going to come and take you out. Here when my man's in them again. Don't get fired, nigga. Now, because I did the Jeezy thing, now I'm back with hip-hop. Hip-hop was the head of A&R at Def Jam. But he stepped down because he just couldn't deal with the politics of it all. My new mentor comes into play. His name is No ID.
Yeah.
No ID was like, yo, YG has a successful album. Jeezy has a successful album. Nipsey didn't come out yet. No ID calls me and he says, I want to hire you to be an A&R here. Come back to Def Jam.
Fire.
Because I just got good music. Because he was running good music. He said, I got good music, so I got Kanye here. I know you know Pusha. I know you know all these guys. These are all your guys. Jeezy's here, Ross is here, this one's here, that one's here, 2 Chainz is here. I need help with, I don't know any A&R person that knows these guys. I said, what? Pew. back to Def Jam. I get to go back to Def Jam as an A&R. Go back to Def Jam.
That reminds me, there's this quote, you can't be a prophet in your own land. Like, you had to leave Def Jam to show everybody that you could do it so you could go back to Def Jam. And that must have been like, the feeling must have been crazy.
It was crazy. I called Nipsey. I said, bro, what do you think? He said, do it, bro. So I did it. I went back. I said, but I go back under one circumstance. You got to carve out that I'm still going to work on Nipsey's album because I'm still finishing that. Yeah. And they're like, fine, fuck it, carve it out. I go back to Def Jam. Now I'm doing Pusha T's album. Fabulous, Jadakiss, 2 Chainz. I signed Dave East, Rick Ross, a couple more Jeezy albums. Now I'm YG's A&R because I did the whole campaign working with YG. And all of a sudden I get the entirety of the rap roster. So now my friends who only recognize me as the promotions marketing guy is now dealing with me in the executive A&R role now.
The guys that were originally part of this like tight-knit gang over at promotions.
No, not those guys. I'm talking about the artists.
Oh, got you.
Now I'm working with the artists. Big Sean, the Kanye, all
everybody.
Now I'm back in the A&R capacity, back at Def Jam, and the same promotion people are still in place. But now I'm the executive A&R guy there now. So now the separation of 2 sides, offense and defense. Remember I told you before? Now I can sit in their radio meetings like, oh, they're full of shit. That's not true. I'm the only one that can read media base.
Because you've literally done everything.
I can read most A&R people can't read the reports. I can read the reports. So they can get away and tell them, oh, the record's not working. That's not true. I know Chubby Chub in Boston plays on this day. He didn't play the record. I'll just call him up myself and give him the song. Chub, I'm in the studio right now with so-and-so. Give him the record. Game changer. So now the artist's like, so wait, you could make my record and you could put it out for me. Yes. I said, oh yeah, I could do that. And that's how that started working.
Yikes.
Lil Durk. I did Lil Durk. No ID signed Lil Durk, maybe the A&R. So I had Lil Durk to that whole first run of the drill scene in Chicago. And Chief Keef and them came.
I can ask you a million more questions, but like I want to, like, you have a lot of people who operate like you're not like front facing in terms of like the consumers and everything. You're working on the background. Obviously, like, you know, the artists are who people engage with. What are some moments, like, if you could like just, you know, shout yourself out or talk shit or whatever, like what are some moments that were game changers that you are directly responsible for?
In terms of what? Like with artists?
Yeah, artists or just anything. Because even the Nipsey story, I'm listening to it and I'm like, you're part of these like super iconic integral moments that like are legendary. The $100 mixtape is legendary, right? What are like some moments that you were a part of that you're like we might remember something and you're like directly responsible or you're part of the team or you're like, you know.
I think the one that it goes way back, but the one that I thought was unreal was 2 parts to it. Was when Jezzy was doing his comeback album, Kingdom Come. Right. And me and my man Sav got to sit in those small, it was almost like this secret Navy SEAL like meetings. He only had like 5 people, it was like his most trusted people. And he invited us into that inner sanctum. It was like his marketing person, his manager, his attorney, and they were playing us all the records in the rollout. And there was like a specific cadence how the records were coming. Like, now you guys are gonna go run this up the food chain over there with them. So like, we'll go deal with Funk Master Flex and we'll go deal with whoever. We would do it, and that's how those records ended up popping off. So I felt incredibly responsible when he did that because this is the content era, and I have found this kid named Rick Cadero. He was shooting music videos at the time. But he was shooting videos. This is right, to me, it was like the death of the traditional music video director, where they was paying millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands at times to shoot music videos. And this kid come on with this little ass camera, shoot it, digitally edit it, put the shit out the same day on YouTube. That's when that started happening.
Yeah.
And we shot this trailer for Jezzy. No, this is when he did American Gangster. And we shot this trailer. Kind of like it was kind of like this New York story about like the backdrop of American Gangster, the movie, but without seeing it.
Yeah.
And we shot a trailer and we tagged our best of both officers on it. We had this kid, Rick Cadero, shoot it. And it would kind of set up that song he had with Pharrell. I forget the name of it. That first single. And we put that out and that shit went viral before viral was viral.
Yeah.
And we were both in the trailer and they gave us the exclusive Jay-Z record. He's like, I'll give you this record. I can't play you the album. This is not Kingdom Come. This is American Gangster.
Yeah.
I can't play you the album. I can't let you see the film. What can you do with this? And we took that. We shot a trailer for it. It's still out right now. It's called Blue Magic.
I remember that.
The black and white?
Yeah.
That was us.
That's crazy.
So we made the content. We literally shot the content, came in with the treatment, shot it up in Harlem. We put out the shit goes all over. But then the blogs were big back then.
Yeah.
We call it the blog era.
Yeah, I remember.
And we used to, because we were promotion guys, we would seed all that shit to the blogs. So we're like, we got a Jay-Z exclusive song for you. And we got to give it to the streets first, not even to the local radio. And the shit spread like wildfire.
Bro, I was sitting in a dorm when that happened.
Yep. And that was like one of the first times I got to touch a product from a guy like that.
Yeah.
At the time, he's on the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's Hove.
Yeah.
And we did that.
Fast forward, I'm jumping around again.
Yeah.
Fast forward, you worked with, because like you developed a relationship, you work with Beyonce.
Yeah.
Bro, what is your life? Like, what is, like, I mean, I've never met these people, right? But me and you are cool, so I'm kind of like, that's crazy.
Let me tell you how that happened. It goes back. Remember I told you about Nicole Planton?
Yeah. Relationships.
Emery called me. Because what we were doing with Nipsey.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I guess he was telling Jay, and I'm like, yo, I guess she was working through, she's like, I really need help because I'm trying to do something a little different, but I don't know where to get it from. And I guess this is what I was told, and the conversation came up. Never was in my house. Hove texts me. Now, we've always been cool over the years, right? From our Pharrell relationship, from the Blue Magic thing, from Def Jam, but he wasn't at Def Jam at this point.
Yeah.
This is 2019, right after Nipsey had died. So he called, so he just texted me out the blue one day. He's like, yo, it's H-O. And he typed the 8 C-H-O. I said, Hove? He said, Hove. I said, nigga, what's good? I ain't see this number pop on my phone in a long time. He's like, call me real quick. He FaceTimed me. He's like, look, I'm here with my wife. We need your help, but her guy's gonna call you. Pick up the phone. Okay. Hang the phone up. Her guy was Steve Payman at the time. He was running Parkwood. He called me like, oh, can you come to the office and talk? I'm like, okay. Emery calls me. Did you get the call? I'm like, Emery, what the fuck is going on? That's Hov and Beyonce, bro. Niggas can't talk to them. He's like, you good, bro? I told him you would have won. Like, damn, thank you, bro. Then she calls me. I didn't even get to the office yet. She calls me on my phone. She FaceTimes me.
That's crazy.
Sweetest lady. Hey, Steve. So excited to be working with you. Mind you, I haven't even agreed to working with her yet.
You don't even know what it is yet.
I said, whatever. You want me to come right now? I'm at my house in New Jersey. I will see you tonight in L.A. She's like, no. Just wait. Because I got it back. It's big time. I'm going to do it. And I remember I'm like, damn. That was the first time I thought to myself, damn, they ain't fucking with me.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it in all iterations. But I really wanted to do a good job because I've done a lot of albums and I worked on a lot of stuff, but this was the one at that magnitude.
Mm-hmm. What project was it?
It was Lion King.
Oh,
in the beginning of her Renaissance series and Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
I worked on a lot of those songs across all those albums. And I went there, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we went in, and first it was like, all right, here's a big secret. We're working with Disney. She's going to be in The Lion King. So now what we got to do, we're going to do an album inspired by. Meaning the concept is she wants to get only singers, songwriters, and producers from Africa. I don't know anybody from Africa. And she's like, this is what I want to do. I flew to LA 2 days later, got a briefing. We're all in a room. She's like, we got 9 weeks to do this album. We had nothing. And so now I'm preparing. So now I'm on the phone calling all my A&R friends. Yo, I can't tell you what I'm working on, but just give me female records, R&B records. Give me R&B records. I said, this is bullshit. I'm stacking them up, though. And one of my dear friends, I ended up telling her, even though we was on NDA, I was like, look, I need your help. You got me working with Mrs. Carter. She said, what? I was like, we're doing a African-inspired album. And she was like, She's like, I got the perfect people for you. She's like, I'm going to send you a record. I just did a song camp in Jamaica. Listen to this song. I listened to it. Matter of fact, I think I have it on my phone to this day. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she sent me a song. I was like, I'm going to play it for her. I like it. It's dope. Did my phone die? Anyway, she was like, she's like, just play it. She's like, Steve, this is the perfect song for her. I go into the meeting. I play it for Miss Carter. She's like, nah, that ain't it. Mm-hmm. Damn. Shot me down. We start working on stuff. A team of us are working together. It was like 4 of us between her regular A&R person, her A&R person's been A&R her since she was in Destiny's Child. Her name was Teresa LaBarbera, OG in the game. And then there was like 2 up-and-comers, which now they're the heightened professionals in the business. A kid named Ricky and a young lady named Marielle. And all of us kind of came up as this team to kind of work on these records. And we're working on records. And I remember I said to Mary, I was like, damn, that song was hard. I can't believe she ain't fuck with that. She's like, no, that shit is fire. Play it again. I was like, again? You sure? I ain't trying to get screamed out because this is like,
yeah.
And she holds court. She's not a joke.
Yeah.
She is not soft. She's always respectful, but it's business.
Yeah.
She's smacking shit around. We keep playing the song. She like, no, that's not it. Stop playing me that shit. In so many words. I'm like, damn. She's like, Steve, just do it again. I'm like, no, not doing it. Y'all niggas is not getting me. So we have this listening session. It's like 3 weeks later. We're getting close to the deadline. We have no songs yet. But we're working on little ideas. She hasn't vocaled anything. It was like, oh my God, the Disney people are coming in. I go to Disney Studios to go watch the movie. I'm like, damn, they're really letting us in. I saw the movie before it was fully animated.
Yeah.
Wildest experience I've ever had as a creative worker. Talking to the entire carousel of creators throughout the business, all over the world. And this meeting had extra pressure on it, doing a playback, but Hove is coming.
Yeah.
We like, what we gonna play? Oh, shit. Because now he in there, so now they sit at the top of the conference table, and they're like, all right, play us what you got. Oh. She said, play it again. I said, you try to get me, like what's going on here? Like, you trying to lie me or something? She's like, play it. I'm like, he's like, play it. Play it. Goes, what's it? brown skin girl.
Okay.
Blue Ivy's in the meeting. She starts singing the hook. Your skin just like pearl. Your best thing in the world. And then now, she's like, play it again. She's like, play it again. Now we're in the room for 15 minutes listening to this song. She's like, all right, I like it. I'll take it. It's going to be the single. She's like, who did this song though? I said, my man St. John.
Shout out to St. John.
I'll call St. John. St. John, I got you one.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what you got me, Steve? I was like, I got you one. I can't tell you what it is, but I got it. He's like, all right, just let me know. I called my homegirl who was his publisher. I said, who's the producer? She's like, I know exactly who is. This kid named P2J. Mm-hmm. He's from Nigeria. He does WizKid, Burna Boy, but he lives in London. I said, get him on a plane here right now. Whew. He ends up producing the majority of the Lion King album. We win a Grammy. Song wins a Grammy. Music video wins a Grammy. Rest is history.
That's
but
a crazy story.
That was like a moment that I'm really proud of because that was just sheer. All my friends helped me with that. Mm. From Shani Gonzalez, who gave me the song, from St. John. Once I told him who it was for, he made me 50 versions of the song to kind of get her to. She took the parts that she liked, the melodies, but it was there. And then my homegirl Marielle, who just kept nudging me like, keep that's your record, play it for her. Mm. And then she took it and they made it it became the centerpiece of like the Black is King visual album. And it was like the one that really resonated with like Black women and young girls and became really the narrative epicenter of what the whole project was about. You know, like Black people, the diaspora, Africans. WizKid was on it. P2J is Nigerian. He's produced it. St. John wrote it. Blue Ivy singing on it. Does the intro. She's doing the record. She puts all her Kelly Rowland and Destiny Child in the video. There's Lupita in the video. Now it's a cultural behemoth.
Yeah. Because you decided to play it one more time.
Because my homegirl pushed me to play it one more time. And that was such a gratifying feeling because at the time I had a young daughter and she's singing a song. I didn't even know her dad touched that song for them. And can't believe it. Can't understand it. And that was a very special moment in working with them. So shout out to the Carters, man.
Right.
They helped me down with that one. Shout out to Emery too, man. Vouch for me on that one.
Yo, that's wild. In terms of the impact, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a highlight, and it was sweet. It was really emotional because it happened right on top of Nipsey passing just a few months earlier.
And you still dealing with that?
Still dealing with that. Like dealt with that the whole way through. Being in LA recording it, and that still vibrates to this morning, right?
Yeah.
Nipsey, but that was like in the middle of all that was going on, and we did it, and it was shit came out fire, like
yeah.
And it went around. And it was the Lion King, and it was big, and I got to take my kids to the premiere. I got to really like the warmth that like that team showed me. It also validated me finally as like I have really come full circle.
Yeah.
I've done. If it all ended today, I would have went out on top.
And all from you just telling the guys like, yo, I'm gonna go work at a radio station.
I got it out the mud.
Yeah.
I earned every little bit of it. I sacrificed a lot to do it. And that moment was where I said, you know what? That was that thing that I told you about with Nipsey. Was like, once you get it off, it's like you can do anything.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't easy to do. We literally, we dedicated hours and hours and hours of time, energy, sleepless nights. Like if I ever like showed you all the songs that are on the album, how many dozens of versions of those songs could have been immensely different at any moment.
Yeah.
And those are what they are. So then to go do that, and then she goes and puts her visual brilliance on it, and then it extends the life of the album again. And then she gives me an executive producer credit on it, on the album.
Yo, congratulations. I mean, it's already happened, but that's huge, bro.
So just imagine a kid born and raised in Elizabeth,
Jersey.
live in Roselle, I'm producing Beyonce albums. And I got proof.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And, you know, just doing all of that and having the kind of career I've had, there's a lot of gratefulness and a lot of, a lot of gratitude. Mm-hmm. Because, again, it started from those guys.
Yeah.
And I've had this to where we're talking and you call it a surreal experience. It's like, it was birthed out of that.
And like the whole time, like as we're going through it, I don't know if you noticed, but you name drop throughout the whole thing. So a lot of times, like we'll do an interview and you understand the concept behind Pillars is like, yo, the people with the people or behind the people or whatever. Like you're emphasizing and you're like sort of like putting out like the whole importance of teamwork and having people with you and nurturing and developing relationships, maintaining relationships.
I'm just a big believer in, the Bible says there's no profit without labor. Mm-hmm. So I really believe in that. Mm-hmm. And for me, why I have this immense amount of gratitude for all the artists around my career, I feel responsible for them. Mm-hmm. But they know me and they know that I'm sincere and true to the game about the things that I do and why I do it. I'm not doing it. I don't do it to clout chase. I don't do it to get credit. I do it because I care about them and I care about what we're doing. And that's always like, that always is a moving emotional thing for me because they don't have to give that gratitude back. Mm-hmm. You will want to expect it, but I never expect it. And each one of those people along the way, whether if it's from Pusha T to Jadakiss to a YG to a Nipsey to a Beyonce to a Jezzy, they always shout me out. Yeah. And they always shout me out in the room. They always make sure that people see me in the room. They always make sure that people know what my contribution is and where my value is the most appreciated. And that's taken me to the heights of my career to even where I'm at today. Off of those reciprocated levels of gratitude. You feel me?
Yeah. But you care. Like, I mean, people see you care.
Yeah, they know I care. One thing I do, I care.
Yeah.
I care a lot. You know what I mean? And
like, I can't tell you how many times, like, you almost got fired for caring.
Yeah, but it becomes the thing that weakens you sometimes becomes your superpower. Yeah. And that's why, like, now...
I'm not being afraid to be let go.
Yeah, because, one thing I learned in experience builds that muscle of repetition is like, that's why I call myself the unreasonable man now. Mm-hmm. I'm completely unreasonable.
Yeah, I like that.
And I just got it. And, I got it because one day we were in the studio with Nipsey. He said this years ago, I paid it no mind. But it popped up on a old video we had that I found in my phone from some of the producer guys sent it. And it was him reading a quote from this guy named Bernard Shaw. And it was a quote called The Unreasonable Man. And the quote went, I'm going to paraphrase, but the quote went like, the reasonable man attempts to adapt himself to the world. The unreasonable man is the polar opposite. But it's only through progress the world changes by the most unreasonable man. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that that was powerful. And really, when I look at my career, that's how it went. It was really being uncompromisingly unreasonable about the things I believed in and what I wanted to do and how I did it. Like, I lost my first job for wanting too much information.
Yeah.
Being unreasonable about, like, the hours weren't enough. You know what I'm saying? I left Def Jam because I was unreasonable because they told me I couldn't be a creative A&R person. I went back and ran their company. And then it became, I set my sights and I want to be the chairman one day. And then I got an offer to do that I had to walk away from because I was unreasonable about the terms of that deal. And that's how I ended up in what was present-day Warner because I didn't do that. And then I had to step down from Warner because it wasn't enough for me. I had to be unreasonable about that. And tell the world now that I got to be able to give it back through entrepreneurship and education and literacy and be able to create something that the people that aspire to go where I wanted to go have a place to work at or a place to learn that stuff at because they're not learning it the way it's going now.
Yeah.
And knowing how I got here, I got that from an opportunity like Star Trak. And it led me here.
Yo, I can't wait to see the next thing you're unreasonable about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo, I'm honored that you even sit down with me. I'm honored you even answer the phone when I call you.
Yeah, stop.
Bro, like, thank you so much for pulling up and hanging out with me and having this conversation.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you. I had a good time.
Yeah. Yo, this has been One of One, a PLLRS Podcast. I appreciate everyone for watching and listening.